In this series, our cameras take you further than ever to reveal the most intimate moments in the lives of the animals at Chester Zoo. Hello, everyone, and welcome to an other episode of Stuttering Professionals. And this episode is very special because we have today with us the great iconic John Harrison,
No,
and it's
my mother would love to hear that if she were.
well, all parents feel the same. So we are very honored that with us today we have John Harrison. He was kind enough to give us, the time and the opportunity to talk and express. So, John, first of all, thank you so much for giving us the honor, and
Oh, it's my pleasure.
thank you so much. And to start with, I would like to ask you about your life, your childhood, and then your high school, and then your university. How was that, and how how was the transitions? Because for stammerers, the thing which really disturb our speaking is the transitions uh, in life or in relationships. So also, put light on that, and also about stammering, and then um, we can move forward here.
Well, my stammering started when I was about 3 years old. Uh, my mother went to Europe with her mother, my grandmother, for 2 months. And when they came back, I took my mother out to the garden, and I said, Mommy, look at the flowers." And that must have gotten my mother all upset because not long after, I think the next year, I was still pretty young, she sent me to the National Hospital for Speech and Hearing Disorders in New York City. And they did a lot of tests, and they couldn't conclude anything. But they did test me, and they found out that I seemed to be fairly smart, and I'm trying to think, what else did they find out? Oh, they didn't come to any conclusions about my speech, but I do remember that they gave me a little medal to hang around my neck, and on one side it said slow, and on the other side it said easy. And I wore the medal very conscientiously on my around my neck, and I did not notice. Well, I guess my mother didn't notice any difference. But like I tell people, and like I wrote to you, never once during this time that I wore that medal was I attacked by vampire bats. So it must have done some good. And And so I'm trying to think. I didn't have a bad stammering problem. I didn't. I didn't have a bad stammering problem, but I did. But I did stammer. When I spoke sometimes, and my mother was very disturbed by this. I guess because one of my earliest memories was her offering me $1 a day if I could speak without stammering for that day. And I don't remember any day when I collected on that. So I guess I stammered enough so that people were. So my mother was still concerned. Anyway, stammering was not a big problem with me in school, but like a lot of people who could pass for fluent, there was always that feeling that I was going to be discovered. You know how it is. You speak and you don't have any blocks, and then you're starting to feel like ordinary people, and then you come to a word or a sentence or something, and you can't say the damn word. So there was always that. Oh yeah. In fact, I remember there was a play I was in fifth grade, I think. It was Shakespeare's "As You Like It," and it was a scene that we were doing out in the backyard in front of the lower school. I went to a school that had a lower school and an upper school, and this was in front of the lower school. And I played a character called Puck, and I had a line which I worried about the whole month before, and it was, "I came with Hermia hither," and I was afraid I couldn't say H's. So I just worried about it and worried about it and worried about it. Oh my God! And I had a trick that I use sometimes that sometimes worked for me. And if I could get most of the air out of my lungs, I could say the word. And I can, to this day, I can remember saying, "I came with Hermia hither." So I got the words out. I got the words out in a very strange and funny voice that didn't sound like me.
Yeah.
But that's where it was, and most of the time I didn't have problems, but sometimes I did, and it was always that fear of being discovered as having this problem, which was sitting on top of my head all the time and causing me to worry and fret and be uneasy about having to speak in class or give a presentation or respond to the teacher, stuff like that.
Yeah,
And that's the way it was in 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 grammar school, in lower school, in high school. And then when I went to university, um, I went to a pretty good school, and when we got there, they ran through all kinds of tests to find out if you needed any remedial stuff, and so I went to the person who listened to me read to see if I had any difficulty, and I made it through just fine with that. And I thought, phew, uh, that was close, but I made it. And then I thought, well, wait a minute, what did I succeed with? Now I'm going to have to deal with speaking through 4 years of college, and and so I didn't get away with anything really. Um, but so I'm trying to think. So I got through things pretty good, but I still worried about having to talk in class. And then I met a teacher who, uh, for some reason, I ended up confiding in him that I had a sometimes speech problem, and he worked with me and encouraged me to just speak, just stand in his class and speak. And so I started to do better. My speech problem was not a bad stuttering problem, bad stammering problem like it is with, like it was with some people. But in a way, that creates problems too, because you don't know where you fit. Are you somebody with a speech problem, or are you not a
That's true.
person with a speech problem? And it
Yeah.
was like I was I was always in this no man's land, not knowing how to present myself. But but that was a problem that I had all the way through school. You you want more of my history?
No. Um, but
Well, let me
that's
give
fine.
you
And
an opportunity
yeah,
to ask some questions, and then I'll. Okay, you have it.
yeah. You know, like for parents, like some of our parents, like when they see that their child is not speaking, you can say uh, normal without blocks or repetition, they get conscious and they try to force. And if they don't know why this is happening or what's the treatment for that. So like for me, my parents didn't knew that like like for stammering there is treatment of speech uh, uh, therapy. I'm talking about like in the start of 2000. No, like uh, that was I think in 92 and 93 4. Yeah, that time. So in Pakistan, uh, there were like not so much facilities, and there was not much uh, uh, awareness. So they took me to the doctor, and he gave me uh, tranquilizers. So the time I had that tranquilizer effect, I was fine, but sleepy. The moment it aware of, I started, stammering again. And when people start pointing you out, the way you're speaking, this is not right, this is wrong. So, like I was fine. Even I was stammering, and people were not pointing out at me. So this was a thing where when we point out, then we become more conscious, and this, when we become conscious, and then stammering increases. So what do you think about stammering from your like one thing in the textbook, what is written there, but uh, uh, um, in your personal experience, how you think about stammering and what basically it is.
What is it?
Yeah.
Well, stammering is a problem which has been incorrectly characterized for the last 5,000 years. It has been incorrectly characterized. It has been characterized as a speech problem, and it's not really a speech problem per se. It's been characterized as basically something that's going on between here and here, and that's not what it is either. And after I left, when I was 24, I left New York and came to California. And I came to California just at the beginning of what they call the personal growth movement. All the people doing self-discovery trainings, taking LSD, smoking dope, being in encounter groups, trying to find out who they were. And when I came out here, there was just a lot of this going on. And I got very much involved because I didn't know who I was. You know, I had been so caught up in pleasing other people for so long, including my parents and the other people in the adult world. I didn't know who I was. And so I started doing some of these things. In fact, I did a lot of them. I did non-sleep, 3-day experiences that really got me into my emotions. I tried LSD. I did encounter groups. I did groups where you ended up interacting with people in a very straightforward and sometimes aggressive way. I just did a lot of this stuff. And over time, over about 3 or 4 years, it became apparent that what I thought was the problem was not really the problem at all. For 5,000 years, people have thought that this was a speech problem. Ever since Moses had a problem talking to God, people have thought this was a speech problem. Not so. I know a lot of people are going to be really disturbed by hearing this, but it's not a speech problem per se. It is a problem with holding back. It is a holding back problem. And just to give you an illustration of what I'm talking about, this is an illustration that I use in my book. Let us say that for a dozen years you've been the owner of a favorite horse, and you love to go riding with a horse. You go out in the country, on weekends. You just love the horse to death. And so one day in this 12-year relationship with the horse, you go out into the country, and the worst possible thing that you can think of happens. The horse trips, and oh my God, the horse breaks its leg. Horse breaks its leg. And it's not a simple break, it's a bad break. And the only thing that you know to do, the only humane thing is to shoot the horse. Well, since you went out in the country, you have a pistol on your belt, and so you have a gun, and so you stand in front of the horse, and you know what you have to do. I mean, the horse is an old friend, and you love the horse to death. But the only really humane thing, because it's such a bad break, is to point your pistol at the horse and pull the trigger. And so you take the pistol out and you hold it in front of the horse. You aim it right between the eyes and you go to pull the trigger and you can't get your finger to move. So you go, I'm trying to pull the trigger. I can't get it to move. So you try this and you shake it and you do everything you can think of, but you can't get the trigger to move. You can't pull the trigger. So I ask you, do you have a finger problem?
No, this is the mental barrier. Like for me, I also felt that.
Yeah.
Also,
Now,
yes.
what would you need to do in order to be able to pull the trigger? What has to happen for you to be able to do this? Let me ask you.
When my mind is ready and I'm clear, like, okay, I'm ready to do it and I will do it. That time, all my, all my hands, all my senses will be, ready to perform the task, um, regardless of, physical external barriers. I will be just ready to do it, like the logo of the logo of uh, Nike. Just do it. So when
Okay,
my
so
mind says, okay, just do it. Yeah.
so you're holding your hand out and you're just saying, "Well, I just have to do it," and you go to pull the trigger, and you can't pull the trigger. Now, is that a problem with your finger?
Now this is still here. The
Problem
issue.
up here.
That's true. That's true.
What's the problem up here?
Like if my mind is ready to do and I'm still not able to do, then there is something, something bothering me in the subconscious. There is, I think, something is there. Like my mind and my submind, they are not thinking uh, um, together. This what I,
Oh,
felt.
I think they're syncing very well. I don't think that's the problem. Why
Mhm.
can't you pull the trigger? I mean, your arm is in front of you, right in front. You're sighting your old friend, the horse, is lying there looking at you with sad eyes. All you have to do is pull the trigger and put the horse out of its misery.
Because
What?
I have um, emotional attachment uh, with the horse that I'm not able to do
So
that. Uh,
you're saying because of your attachment to the horse.
yes,
Well, because of your attachment of the horse, then what?
that I'm not able to do the task and you know, to put him out of his misery, because spent so many years with the horse and now it's emotional attachment. If this is not about the mind and the sub conscious,
Well,
So that thing
if
is,
if you want to pull the trigger, what stands in the way?
it's me. It's totally me. No one else is there to stop me or hindering in all this process.
Sometimes this debate is simply about friendship.
But what stands in the way? All you have to do is pull the trigger. It's not. You don't have to pull it very hard. You have the pistol there, and the pistol is right looking at the horse. All you have to do is pull the trigger a little bit, and the horse is kaput.
Because I'm still confused that I should do or not do. Is this the right thing to do?
Well, let's say that you're not confused. Let's say that you know that this is what any reasonable horse owner would do in that situation. You know this, that this is the
Yes,
accepted procedure,
that's
and so you try and pull the trigger, and you still can't get your finger to move. What's what's getting in the way?
I don't know now.
Well,
Well,
something's getting in the way.
yes, that's true. That's true.
Well, what's getting in the way is an unwillingness to experience the pain that you would experience when you shot the horse.
That's true.
You would have to experience the pain. It would hit you deeply. You'd have to watch your friend die. And that's painful. And if you're not willing to experience that, then it's very difficult to pull the trigger. So the problem is not with your finger, right?
That's
You
true.
don't go to the doctor and say, well, I want to shoot the horse, but I couldn't pull the trigger. So I must have a problem with my finger.
That's true.
Somebody could do an x-ray of my finger and see why it wouldn't pull. That's not what you do,
Yeah, yeah.
because you have a problem with your intention. So a speech block, the definition of a speech block is that of two forces of equal strength pulling in opposite directions. I want to move my hand to the right, but I also want to move my hand to the left, and the forces are equally matched. And while the I'm blocked, I can't do anything. That makes sense?
Yeah, John, this is a totally
That's
new
what a block is.
um, concept. It is indeed, and this thing explains tampering uh, very well. Yeah, the pain, like the stammers are not, I think more afraid of people to talk with, but they are more afraid of the pain. Like when they stammer or get the block in front of people, even the people even are not thinking, and in their own selves, they're feeling that okay, I'm not going to stammer, and what the next person will think. So the pain and the shame they felt that put them in avoidance, and they restrict their social activities and don't let their full potential out.
Well, it's very easy to delude yourself into thinking that you can't speak for any number of other reasons. But the fact is that when you are blocked, it is because you are, and put this in quotes, you are holding back.
That's true. That's true.
And one of the things that I am trying to get people to do is not use the word stammer anymore. Get rid of the word stammer. And every time you go to refer to the difficulty that you're having, use the words hold back or holding back. For example, I went to ask this beautiful girl if she'd go to bed with me.
Yeah.
But when I went to ask her to go to hold, notice how much clearly the situation is rendered than if you say, I started to stammer. When you just say stammer, you don't really know what's going on. When you say hold
Yeah.
back, suddenly, oh yeah, I didn't want to deal with the rejection. She was beautiful.
Yeah.
I was afraid of making a fool of myself. I was afraid of
That's
being
true.
rejected. And so I held back. I didn't want to deal with the rejection. So I held back. And using hold back for stammer is one of the things that I always recommend so that you can begin to get a much clearer picture of what is going on with you in terms of what you're trying to do.
That's true, John. This
That makes
is the
sense?
real picture. Yeah, of course it does. Like I have felt this like all my life. I was thinking the speech problem, but around 3 years back, I started to feel different. The way you are saying that is totally right. I felt the same because my stammering is more prominent when I think that okay, I need to impress someone, or okay, uh, um, I might fail an interview or a presentation and so on. So there's a pressure building up, and I have to do good, and that's the stamping starts more, and things get really uh, intense, and in the end I really fail, and even the things are going okay, but inside me this is a more internal thing
Right,
going on.
right. Well, there are two questions. There are two questions you always have to ask. Uh, well, how am I holding back? And what am I holding back? You know?
That's true.
And why am I holding back? When you start to look at situations that way, you can begin to look underneath. It's like looking under the rug, underneath the carpet, as to what's going on underneath and seeing what's happening. If you just look at the superficial problem of the stammer itself, uh, you'll never know what's going on. And that's
That's
the kind
true.
of thing that I did a lot in California. Go on.
Yes, John. Like this is the same thing I
In
felt like
California,
yeah. Sorry. Yes.
in California, when I came out and when I was in my 20s, There were all kinds of personal growth programs and self-discovery programs going on. I mean, it was the place to be, and it was a place that I wanted to be because I had a lot of questions about who I was and who was the real me and what was the real me. I didn't really know. So I did a lot of these things. You know, I did encounter groups. Uh, I took LSD once uh, and wrote a paper on it. Did I ever send you that paper?
Yeah, you uh,
Did I ever send
sent me the.
you the,
Uh,
the paper on my LSD experience?
yes, you did. Yes, you sent me that.
Okay, I thought I did. But I just did a lot of these things with the idea of finding out who I was. What did I feel? Why did I feel the things that I did? And then the big question, suppose I didn't hold back, what would I be expressing? What would I be letting go of? What would I be revealing to other people? And I spent about, oh, I don't know, about 5, 6, 7 years doing all these programs. And uh, these programs were not run by PhDs or doctors. They were just run by people who got into the program. And so
Yeah,
I didn't have to deal with a lot of people with letters after their name. It was just other people like me in the room, also trying to get clear about what was true for them. And I just did a lot of this. And over time, I found out that, for example, I love speaking in front of people. I ended up being a presentation coach and I ran public speaking workshops for the general public in San Francisco. I did that for about 15 years. And I just like doing it. It's really fun.
yeah. Like for me too, like when I graduated from uh, university, I said, okay, I have stammering, so but I can't do. I just crossed two, three main things. The first, teaching job where you have to speak a lot. I said the cross, and I won't be able to do that. And second, sales or marketing job where you have to talk to people to convince them, to inspire them to buy your stuff and so on. But ever, so I I won't be able doing that. So around 5 years 5 years back, I got the opportunity to be assistant professor in a university. I taught there for like 4 years, and that was still a good uh, experience, and that gave me a lot of confidence. But still, there was holding back. I was not able to express myself truly. What is in my mind and how to structure stuff to say to people in a good way, that was still lacking. And around end of last year, I've started BSF Toast Masters Club. I think the fourth Toastmaster club in the world and first one in Asia that is dedicated to uh, stammerers. So after going through the process of Toastmasters, each month was amazing. That has given me more confidence, more courage, and more clarity at how I need to speak and things. Now things are much better for me in the path of self exploring, and I felt that this is not something here, not here. So like
That's right.
yeah, so
It's all
yeah,
of
so
it.
like yeah, that's true. So I say to people that this is the time to become fearless, because the fear that limit us. Like someone said to me, "This is impossible. You can't be fearless." I said to him that okay, the fear is there, but when the fear comes, then you analyze it and counter it and reason like why this is uh, ha- uh, uh, happening. Still, I have that. Like if I'm going to do speak to someone or trying to take a phone call or something else, there is a surge of fear that came into me. I can't do it. So now I'm a bit conscious. Now I analyze that thought. That is that something genuine I need to worry about, or it's just my just my old way of thinking. So I just need to to garbage this thought, and now I have to do this because the fear was there. That's not things are turning much
Did
better
you?
because I yeah now I stopped holding back.
I sent you that article that I wrote about beating the phone book, didn't I?
Yes, yeah, like
Beating the phone
and
book.
I yes, and I loved it. Like uh, when you try
But
to
did you try
sorry,
it? I said, but did you try it?
yes,
Did you?
I'm uh, like 2 years ago, like when my life changed. That was a one thought. I went to an interview. They rejected me. So I said, okay. They said this is due to your stammering. We can't give you the job. I said, okay. That was a teaching job. I said, okay. We can do a demo. I can give you a demo, and I gave them the demo, and they said, okay. I said, if you can't understand a thing, just tell me. They said, okay. Like teaching was fine, but still this time we can't give the job. I said, okay. And that was the time I decided that like that enough is enough. So now I can't live with the thought that I can't do this or I can't do that.
Yeah.
I need to be fearless. So that was the uh, anger inside me, and I didn't back the phone book or do something like that. But what I did, I channel my anger towards the thing that I said I want to do. So the whole thing, my anger, crush the holding back, the wrong beliefs I had before that I can't do this. Oh, the fear was there. Okay, I think I won't be able to do that good. So I said I have to do, even if I do bad, I have to do it because if I don't take the first step, I won't be able to reach the destination that is here to my goal. So since then, the
So did
the
so did you
yeah,
did you hit the phone book?
each
Did
day
you hit the
this,
phone book?
uh, um, uh,
I'm
each day
asking you whether You found a phone book in a newspaper, and did you hit it?
Well, my phone book are my fears. I'm working them each day. Each day is a new struggle that I have to deal with. So I have to, channel my
But did,
anger. Yes, yes. So I
yeah.
have to
But
channel
have you
my.
tried what I did? Did you get a
Yes,
phone
John.
book and did you put it on a chair? And then did you take a roll of newspaper and go whop and hit it about 4 or 5 times as hard as you can? Did you ever do that?
Uh, I did that like once or twice to to break some stuff. There was some waste glass, and I was feeling very angry. So I just smashed them in the wall. So to break something to get out of the anger like that really felt good. So, but we
Yeah.
like can't,
Well,
put that quick.
you, you need to find out what it's like to hit the phone book maybe 6 or 7 or 8 times
Yeah,
in a row. You
that's
need to
true.
find out what that feels like.
Yeah, I
Yeah, because it feels very good and very powerful. And if you have not done things like that before, it's good to give yourself that experience so that you know what it feels like.
that's true, John. I
Because when I
get
finally
your
was in a group and got when I was finally in a group and got angry at somebody, that's what it felt like. It felt like when I hit the phone book, the anger just came out, and it was a great feeling. I loved it.
that's true, John. Uh, that's true. Like like when I let my uh, anger out, like on people or stuff or something like that, it makes me more uh, calm and relaxed, and my speech get uh, better. Like this is eternal uh, feeling. The more we suppress our thoughts and feelings, that really affects us, especially the speech. Don't know how, but it does. So,
Hmm.
John, how just like I have seen your model, and that's very amazing. The famous John uh, Harrison uh, hexagon. There are the belief system and all the things, and like uh, uh, how you um, uh, just uh,
How did I
covered that.
develop it?
Yeah, yeah. How you
Well, okay.
develop.
Uh, I told you I was doing a lot of self discovery activities, but
Yep.
I am also a very, very, very good observer. And if you can be a good observer, a good noticer of what's going on, you can begin to see things. And I was doing all these things that involve my engagement and my emotions and, and activities. But at the same time, I watched and observed everything that I did. And when you make an effort to observe things carefully over a period of time, you start noticing and observing things that are very useful. You become aware of things that you were never aware of before. And so I'm a very good observer. And if you want to change behaviors like this, it really is important for you and anybody else to also be a very good observer. So, be a very good noticer. Notice what happens to you. Notice what your feelings. Notice how things work out or don't work out. But keep observing and keep noticing. But keep trying different things. And if you keep doing that over time, you end up discovering some very interesting things.
Yes, John, that's true. Like uh, before I started, to feel my own self and to observe myself and my, my thinking structure and how I, used to process things. Like that really helped me when I started to know myself. So, like that really helped me, and it really opened up me to accept myself as like I have okay this way of speaking, and I have this holding back,
Mhm.
and how I can make it better to share that with people. Okay, this is my way of speaking, the way I do, and to expand my
Well,
uh, comfort zone. Yeah.
I'll tell you, if you do nothing more than stop using the word stammering and
Yeah.
substitute the words hold back or holding back, if you do just that over the next year in every situation, when you think about or talk about this problem, you will begin to see things.
That's true, John. Like,
Stammering, the word stammering, looks at the superficial manifestations of the problem. Holding back looks at what is going on under the surface.
yes, John. Like you explained before, and when I was going to say stammer, I said, but I realize it. Like this is the holding back. So change that with holding back, and you are totally right, and I agree with you. But when we change the word stammer with holding back, this is not just a substitute. This is a totally mindset that come to us. Like each time when I'm going to say I hold back, and due to this is my way of speaking. So this totally changed my way of thinking that I don't have to hold back. This is uh, uh, really true, and this thing has you know uh, 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 you can say deep effects on uh, ourselves, but the results won't came overnight. It takes time. You have to each day is a struggle. Deal with your old way of speaking, your own your old mindset. You have to uh, change that where things is not stemming the uh, holding back, and try to expand your uh, 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 comfort zone, do things which you feel that okay, this I feel this is holding me back. This thought, okay, now I have to do this each day. Experience new things, especially that make you more. You felt in the holding back, the fear.
Well, you need hold back. And it's not just in speech. How else do you hold yourself back? In what other circumstances do you hold yourself back? Why do you hold yourself back? What do you think would happen in that situation, in this situation, if you didn't hold yourself back? What might happen? See, we never question these things. So our behavior and observations end at the superficial level. They don't look under the surface as to what is causing the holding back.
That's true. That's true.
So you
Like
have to look
being
under the
yeah,
surface if you want to if you want to find out.
that's true. Like for uh, myself, all my life, I was too, you can say, afraid to analyze myself. That what thoughts and what things
Mhm.
I will reveal uh, um, about me, and the pain I will felt. So that stopped me from uh, to dig down deep into my mind and to observe myself. And when I said, okay, this is enough is enough. We get life for once, and we have to live it fully. And that and like that was a thought.
Yeah.
I said, okay, now I have to uh, experience all those things, and I have to explore myself. And even that will make me in pain or make me uncomfortable, but I have to do that. Then I would like to talk
Here's something that you can do.
yeah,
Yeah, go on.
yes, John, please
All right.
continue.
Um, I was I was about to say there is something that you can read that may help you in better understanding who you are. Have you ever heard of a personality typology for typing people called the Enneagram? Enneagram.
No, I
Okay.
heard like you're talking about the personality the test.
Well, the Enneagram is a what they call a personality typology. It describes
Yeah.
9 basic personality types,
Yes.
and the
Yeah, I
system
did.
has been around for 1,500 years, and we all fall into into that scheme at one point or another. And if you understand something about people of your personality type, you can better understand why you think and feel and do the things you do. and it gives you a better sense of how you might go about changing it. And so if you haven't looked it up, do so.
Yes,
go to you
I will.
go to Google and put in Enneagram, Enneagram, and read about the 9 basic personality types, and then see if you can figure out where you fit in that scheme of things. And if you can really identify with one of those types, you can read a lot about how that type of person thinks and reacts and feels and responds. And it becomes all of it becomes very useful and enlightening information.
Uh, uh, that's true. Like when we start knowing ourselves, who we are, then we really know what to do and which way to go. So if we don't uh, uh, have a destination in front of us, then there is no point. What ever we do, that won't uh, lead us anywhere.
Uh-huh.
Uh, like John, I would like to talk uh, about uh, your article,
Which one?
that is control the conflict of control systems.
The two different control systems. Yes.
Yeah, like yes, you talked about that there is a our conscious mind, and there is a subconscious mind. Briefly, that's how that that uh, uh, works uh, with the holding back.
Well, we have an automatic control system. You, do you ride a bicycle?
Yes,
Do you ride a bicycle? Do you
uh,
remember how you learned to ride a bicycle?
uh, yes, I do in the start,
How
and
did you
then
learn to stay up on a bicycle? Did you just get on it for the first time and ride it?
no, 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 no. That
Me
was
neither. Well,
that
how did you do it?
that was a process. Like the first time I sat on the bicycle, I try to balance and try to uh, pedal. So I do when I just think I try for the first time, I fell, and then I get on the bike uh, again, and I tried, and my cousin uh, helped me with the uh, balancing, and it took some time to learn how to do that, and then that all come into my subconscious and my muscle.
But when you were learning to ride a bicycle,
Yeah. Yes, John.
did you hear the question?
No, no, no.
Okay.
John is having some connecting difficulties at the moment.
My my father ran next to me and then the next day he wasn't there, but the bicycle was. So I got on the bicycle and I
Mhm.
pushed off and I stayed up. But while I was learning to do it, the balancing that was required, the automatic balancing, was supported by my father, who was running next to me holding the bike up so I wouldn't fall off. But I was learning to balance them.
It is.
But I had to learn to balance. So I have what I learned was that I have an automatic system that, if I train properly, will allow me to do things like ride a bicycle. And then there's a more conscious learning system that I have to work at in order to learn. I don't know if you get the distinction,
Yes, I did.
but
Uh,
the body learns to do certain things automatically. And once the body learns to do that, the body knows how to do it.
that's true.
And then
It
there are
is.
other things that the body the body has to really body mind really has to work at learning, and
That's
it
true.
doesn't come quite as fast or as easy, and you have to really work at it.
It is.
But once you get it, what you're doing is you're training your unconscious mind, your subconscious mind, to do things automatically, and your mind is capable of doing that. And at some point, the mind learns how to do things automatically. And speaking is one of those things that, if you don't interfere with it, it will learn to do it automatically. But for some reason, those of us who grew up with stuttering problems interfere with the automatic system, and the results are what you see.
It is, John. Like when I try to speak, like uh, like of course I have to think and then to speak. But when I don't make it conscious, like okay, I have to speak this word and in this way I have to speak. So you can say when I speak freely, that really helps me because at that moment I'm connected with the sub conscious, the things I have learned, and they you know come out in a flow.
Your your sound is breaking. Your
Now, is
sound
it
is
fine?
breaking up.
Okay, now is it fine? Uh, now, is the sound okay?
I I cannot understand you because your sound is breaking up. It's getting chopped.
Okay. Now, is the sound fine? Is it okay? Just a minute. Now, is it? Uh,
Well,
yeah. Now, is it
you have to
better?
talk for me to.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I was saying
Now it's
that.
better.
Yeah. Yeah. I was saying that. Uh, like when I speak and uh, I'm not conscious about it. Like, okay, this is I'm going to say, and this way I will say, and here I have to, inhale and exhale and do that. Like, uh, when I truly speak from my, from my mind, from my subconscious, the way I learn to speak, and like the way I used to speak, I speak that, and there is no pressure on my mind. I speak fine. So when I become more conscious, okay, I am going this place now. I have to speak good. I will do that. And okay, if I stammer, I need to do this. I need to take deep breaths and do those things. So that makes the speaking uh, difficult. So
Well, let
you
me ask you
are,
this: when you
yeah,
are totally by yourself, there's nobody around. Do you have any difficulty speaking when it is only you in the room?
no, 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 never,
Never.
no.
So you can say exactly what you want to say, the way you want to say it, when you want to say it, when you are
Yes,
alone.
yes, it is.
Okay. Well, when somebody is there, what things do you do in order to hold back? Because it is a holding back process that
That's true.
creates this problem.
That's true. So when I am uh, in a situation that like I become more conscious, and I have to think the more pressure is there that I have to do it right. I have to do it okay. I have to do it, um, uh, in a good way. Or the thoughts are there that are not able to do that good, and there is more fear. So like when these feelings are there that really disturb the speech uh, 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 pattern, and then the uh, holding back uh, uh, comes in a way to hold back from upper opportunities, and to hold back from expressing my own self. Yeah,
Well, you can hold back in any number of ways, but
yeah,
if you hold back in your speech, you use your articulators in a particular way or don't use them in a particular way. It's just like shooting the horse. You have your finger on the trigger,
yeah.
but if at the same time that you want to pull the trigger, you don't want to pull the trigger, what happens? The same thing happens in speech.
That's
Can
true.
you,
That's
can you tell me that time. It's the same thing.
Sorry. Yes.
Can you throw me the bu, 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 ball?
I got your point, John. It is.
Two forces of equal strength pulling you in opposite directions. And the reason why it doesn't go on forever is that eventually the emotions that are driving the speech win out, they prevail, and you end up saying the word. But for a while, you have two forces of equal strength pulling you in opposite directions, just like shooting the horse.
That's true.
I'm gonna shoot that horse. Why can't I pull the trigger? I know what I want to do. Well, you don't know what you want. You know what half of you wants to do, but the other half doesn't want to pull the trigger. So you have this kind of a situation.
Is it?
A block, two forces of equal strength pulling you in opposite directions. If you do nothing but remember that, you're on your way.
Yes. It is. So I have to, um, first, I don't need to, hold back. And second, when there is a block, there is a, the uh, opposite force. So, so what should I do? I don't need to, uh, to uh, uh, to pull the force um, uh, against that.
Well,
So when
sometimes speaking in a louder voice helps. When I was running public speaking meeting workshops for the general public, I would get somebody up in front of the group who was afraid to speak, and I'd get them to walk around the room, lean against the wall, go back to the snack table, make a snack, uh, lie on the floor, sit in the chair, raise their voice, drop their voice, look out the window, do all of these things while they were speaking. And you'd be surprised how somebody who is afraid to speak, once they're doing all these things and taking over the space and doing what they want to do with a little coaching from me, how suddenly they feel like they're in charge. Very interesting.
yes, it does, John. Like the we said, like to when you're feeling the block, or then to change the voice is the starting strategy to go with that change of the tone. That really relaxes this
Or
portion.
volume, change in volume a
Yes,
lot of
yeah, the vocal cords and the jaws, they are much more uh, uh, relaxed, and we come out of the block. Yeah, it does help, and you done it, so great that if you are feeling that the pressure, the anxiety, then do something else too. So that really helps.
Yeah. All these things help. You have to experiment. This is not something that you that you learn to do overnight because you've been doing the other things for a long time.
That's true.
But you have
That's
to
true.
try it out. See what it's like. See what it's like if you're standing up in front of people and you're just trying to get the words out. See what it's like to actually triple your volume,
That's true.
not double it, but triple it. Speak in a louder volume. Find out
Right.
what it feels like. And
You know, like
that's how you discover things.
that's true.
But if
Like
you're afraid to do it, if you're afraid to do that, if you're so concerned with doing it right and getting everybody's approval,
that's
then
true.
you're handing over your power to your listeners and not
That's true.
keeping any of it for yourself.
That's true, John. You have painted the the perfect uh, 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 picture. So the first time
I hope
when
so.
I really yeah, the first time I really shouted, that felt really amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what's interesting too. In public speaking workshops that I've done for the general public, I get somebody up who speaks in a fairly weak voice or a quiet voice, and I ask them whether they're willing to talk for 10 seconds or 20 seconds, doubling their volume, and they do that, and usually they talk a lot easier. And then I say, "All right, can you talk for another 20 seconds and double that volume?" Well, they look at me funny, but they generally do it, and their whole presence changes. And then sometimes I'll even say, "Okay, are you willing to double that volume so that 248 they're speaking 8 times louder than they normally do?" And then after they do that, I ask them. I say, "All right, when you doubled your volume and you doubled it again, I'm going to go up the scale from 1 to 10. 10 being very loud, 1 being very quiet. And I want you to tell me at what level you were speaking at when you were speaking at the doubled level." Invariably, the person says, "Well, I was speaking at a 10 level." I said, "Okay." I said, "Let's do a reality check." And I turn to the audience and I say, "Audience, okay. Now you heard Bobby say he was speaking at a 10 level. When he was speaking at his doubled volume, what level was he speaking at?" I'm going to go up from 1 to 10. And when you get to the level that he was talking at, raise your hand. Say, how many people heard Bobby speaking at a one level? No hands. Two hands. Two level. No hands. Three level. No hands. Well, three level, often I get like one hand, believe it or not. Four level, half of the room goes up at the four level.
Okay.
I say five level. Most of the rest of the hands go up at five. Six level, I get maybe one hand. Seven, eight, nine, 10, no hands. I say, so what does that tell you? You thought that you were speaking at a 10 level. Most of the people heard you speaking at a five level, and a few at a six level, and one at seven. What does that tell you? Well, the person says, I guess the way I perceive myself is not accurate. I say, no kidding. And it's usually very revealing to the person to realize that when they were talking at what they thought was a shout, most people simply perceive them as talking in a very strong voice.
That's true, John. You know, as we make perception of ourselves, uh, yeah, it's good to ask other people to get the real picture that what
That's true.
really is. Yeah, the way I'm thinking and
That would be
perceiving is
one way
that
of
the right
doing it.
way to.
That would be one way of doing it.
Yes, that's true. Like um, when I started, my sessions in Toastmaster, this is a thing I uh, learned there, to ask people that like to feel, also ask about myself, and to know about others too, the empathy,
Hmm.
so that give me a real picture about myself. But when I'm communicating with uh, others, that what they are thinking, and how the things are going in their uh, on their side, that that really uh, helps me not to just to make a mindset, or a perception, and to keep it on the real time, that what's
Hmm.
really going on, at my end, and at their end, that makes the communication much more easy. And for me, the speech is more fluent, and more uh, effortless.
Yeah.
John, we have the session around uh, 1 hour, but you explain things uh, in the uh, amazing way, and we have learned so much from you. But like, we really want to go more, but that I think we have the time has gone up. So, any final words for
Yeah.
people who are uh, holding back and dealing with this speech
Right.
impediment, stuttering. Yes.
Yeah, let me propose something I haven't done in a long time.
Okay.
But if you'd like me to run a workshop for you sometime
Sure. Sure. Sure.
online,
That will
online
be great.
with a group,
Yeah. Sure.
uh, I've I've done that, and we can we can make it a very active workshop where people actually do things,
Sure. Sure. That will be great.
and I'm willing to do that. It's fun. Besides which, in this COVID-19 world, there's
Yes.
nothing to do. I haven't been out of the house in 5 months, believe it or not.
Wow. That's really a
5 months.
long time. Wow.
I know, but I'm at the age when I have to be very careful with COVID
Yeah. That's true.
because
That's true.
it takes it takes aim at old geezers like me, as they say.
Exactly.
So I have to be careful.
Yeah. That's true, John. You're doing the uh, right thing. Sure. We can plan a workshop. I will write you an email, and we can, discuss that further. And sure, I would love that.
Okay,
We should do a workshop. Yeah.
now think about it. I have nothing but time, my friend.
Thank you, John. Thank you so much. So, any last advices for people
No,
watching
no,
and for families?
I've run off at my mouth. I've run off at the mouth a long time tonight, so I can't think of anything else I need to say right now.
Okay.
Other than it was really fun talking with you.
Same here, John. I have learned a lot from you, and this really helped me to understand myself in a better way. And now I know like how to deal with myself
Yeah,
and in which direction I have to go. You have given me a destination to reach. So I'm really grateful that to you, and I think the people who will watch this session are still watching, that this will also help them uh, a lot to find their true selves and who they really are and what they really want, and to
right on.
know about their goals or destination in life,
Yeah.
their what they want to do and where they want to go.
And
Because in all, yes,
yeah, just remember the analogy of shooting the horse.
that's true.
It's a very
John,
simple analogy, but it's very relevant to what happens when people get caught up in speech blocks. It's the same
yes,
process.
John, you have pictured it beautifully in words that explains
Yeah.
everything. That's true.
Good. Well, I hope so. So let me know if you want to do something more. You know where
Sure, John.
you know where you can find me.
Yes, John, I know. And we will plan next. I will write you an email, and from there we will take up the things.
Okay, I'm out. It was great
Yeah,
talking with you.
same here, John. It was an honor to have you with us, and we really
My pleasure.
uh, appreciate that you have taken out time and guided us, and this has opened new doors for us to make ourselves better, not only uh, ourselves but to help others too. When, like, I believe that when I'm able to help myself, then I will be at a stage then that I'm able to help others. So you have started this chain a long time uh, ago. You are a mentor of uh, the, thousands, and now I'm your mentee too.
Okay. All right. Ahmad,
Thank you.
talk to you soon.
See you, John. Take care, and
Okay.
thank you so much.
My pleasure. Bye bye.
Bye, John. Take care. See you. Thank you.